towards the grade recovery. So now we're going to look at central tendencies. We've talked about that before, central tendency and variability. So let's start with that. That's the little paper. Yep.
The medium or range?
All right, so in reality, we only have 3 things that actually are your central tendency. We only have 3. The 4th one is not a central tendency. It is actually called a variability. And that is the range. But we group the 4 of them together. So let's look at our little half piece of paper. And we're going to refer to this today. So, someone read for me the mean. All right, Jesse. Ricky, I'm sorry. I didn't know you read your last name. Go ahead.
The mean is found by adding all of the numbers in the set of the data and dividing by the number of values in the set.
All right, so we take a list of numbers, whatever our data is, and we add them all up, and then we divide by however many numbers are in that set. If we have 5 numbers, we would divide by
3, 2, 6, 5.
If I have 5 numbers in my data set, what am I dividing by? I'm dividing by 5. If I have 7 numbers in my data set? 7. Okay. Go ahead and read the median.
The median is found by ordering the numbers in the set of data and identifying the value in the middle of the set. If there are 2 values in the middle of the set, find the median or mean of those 2 values.
All right, so on this one, we have to think about the fact we have 2 different types of data. You're going to have an odd set of number or an even set of number. So if I have 5 numbers, that's even or odd? Odd. Now, what do I have to do with these numbers to find the median? I gotta put them in order. I have to put them in order. Whether it's least to greatest, greatest to least, it doesn't matter. Then, how do I find the middle number?
It's going to be 2 because since it's an odd number, it has to be 2 because there can't be 1.
So, no, it's an odd number, so won't I have a middle number?
Yeah.
I go straight to the middle number. Mark off the ends, there's the middle number. Now, what if I had an even set of data?
That one you would have to use.
Yes. When it's an even set of data, I'm going to have 2 middle numbers, and what do I do with those 2 numbers?
Divide them.
No, you add them.
I add them first, and then divide by what? 2. Divide by 2. Find that middle number. All right, Jack, tell us about the mode.
The mode is found by identifying the value that occurred more than often any other value in the set of data. There may be no mode, 1 mode, or more than 1 mode.
All right, so that's already answered my question. It's the number that occurs the most, and we can have more than 1 mode. Okay, we can have just 1, but how do you tell me when you don't have a mode?
You have to put no mode because you put 0.
No mode or none. Very good, gentlemen. No mode or none. What if I put 0?
Then it's
That's
a
a number.
So it'll be 0.
So then I would think you're telling me 0 is your mode, and 0 could be a mode, but we don't use the numbers. All right, Noah, since you asked, go ahead and read range. Don't worry, you'll get to... Oh, okay, go ahead and read it.
Can I read something longer?
I don't have anything longer. Read range.
The range is the difference between the largest and smallest values in the set of data.
All right. So, it's a subtraction problem. It's the difference. It is the difference. So let's look up here a minute. What's another thing we can say about the mean? What can we call it?
average.
Yes. If that is not on your paper, write it on your paper. This is notes. So it's an average. Okay? Little paper. Little paper. On the back or on the front. Now, what did we say the median was? The middle. NO stands for number. NO dot stands for number. And mode? Most. So here's your 1-word clues to help you. Now, What about range? What can we use to help us remember? Not distance. It does start with a D though. Look at your notes. It's not division. Look at your notes. Look at your notes. Different. It's the difference. It's the high minus the low. Okay? So it's the high minus the low. You can put difference. That's fine. As long as you remember what it is you're doing. You're doing the difference. So, central tendencies. What a central tendency does, it allows us to group our data to get a central idea of the numbers. Now, sometimes, and in 7th grade, you guys have to understand this, sometimes this put on the back of your little notes page. You sometimes have to deal with what's called an outlier. And it doesn't mean somebody that's lying. Okay? An outlier is when your data has a value in it that doesn't fit the rest of the data. For example, let's say, and this is going to be our example, so let's say I'm going to say that I'm a B student. So my grades are going to be 80, 85, 89, 85, and then 50. Then I have a 50. So, which of those numbers would be considered my outlier? Yeah, because it doesn't fit the rest of my data.
All you get is full good grades, then next thing you get.
So that's an outlier. We could do the reverse of that too. We could have average low grades and all of a sudden get a really high grade. Now, here's what an outlier does. When you get an outlier, it can skew, and this is what the word is called, it can skew your data. In other words, it's going to give you a false interpretation, is what it's going to do. It's going to give you a false reading. Okay? You will end up getting a false reading. So if I was to average this, including the outlier, it's probably going to say I'm in the 70s. But what type of student am I really? A student? I'm a B student. Right? I'm a B student. But because of that one low grade, that exceptionally low grade, it brought my grade average down. We could do the reverse of that. If I'm making 70s and all of a sudden I get 100, that 100 could give you the false sense that I'm a B student.